Hello everyone. Thank you so much for attending our talk. First of all, we really want to thank to SDC India 2021 for giving us an opportunity to showcase our work. I am Archie Somani, currently working as a research scientist at Huawei. Prior to that, I have completed my postdoc from Technion Israel. Before that, I have completed my PhD from IIT Hyderabad. My area of interest are parallel and concurrent programming, software transitions memory, and distributed systems. Today I am going to give you this idea along with a co-author, Shweta Kumari. The title of our today's presentation is An Efficient Approach to Achieve Greater Concurrency Using Object-Based Transitions Memory for Multi-Core Systems. This is the outline of our today's presentation. First, I'll briefly talk about introductions to the STM. STM stands for Software Transitions Memory System, in which we will talk about the working of the STM method. Then we will see the problem with the read-write STM. And in the next section, we will see how we overcome those problems with the help of object-based STM. And next, we will show our proposed OSTM design and data structure. Specifically, we have implemented for two data structures. One is the hash table and another is the list, which we will see in our experimental evaluations. There we have shown its performance against the state-of-the-art STM. Later, I'll conclude my slides followed by the future work. Now, let's talk about introductions to software transitions memory system. First, what is the transactions and history? Transaction is a sequence of instructions guaranteed to be executed atomically. History, which is a concurrent executions of transactions. This will be clear with one example. Let's consider there is two concurrent transactions. R stands for the read operation and W is for the write operation, and they are working on some shared data items such as X, Y, and Z. C1 and C2 are the commit of transactions T1 and T2 respectively. So this is the concurrent executions of transactions, which is showing an example of a history. Now let's talk about the definition of the STM. Software transitions memory systems are a convenient programming interface for a programmer to access the shared memory using concurrent threads without worrying about the concurrency issues, such as deadlock, live lock, priority inversion. Everything will be internally handled by the software transitions memory system. So in the layman term, what exactly the STM is? STM is providing a multi-threaded library to the user who don't know anything about the parallel programming or multi-threading, and he and she can use that library to make their sequential program to run concurrently. And they will be overcome with the burden of parallel programming or multi-threading. Traditionally, STM exports the following methods such as transitions begin, read, write, try commit, and try abort. Here T stands for the transition. Every transition first invoke the transitions begin method to get the unique timestamp. I'll cover the remaining operations functionality in my upcoming slide. All the operations are working at a read-write level, so we refer to these as the read-write STM. Now let's look into the working of the STM. Here, this memory is nothing but a shared memory where multiple threads or transitions are concurrently working on it. For sake of simplicity, here I consider the two transitions T1 and T2, which are concurrently working on this memory. Apart from that, they have their own local log as well. We have considered the optimistic approach where first transitions write into its own local log, and at the time of try commit, they will validate their log in the memory. So when the transitions read, first it reads from the shared memory. Same as T2 will also read from the shared memory. And when they will write, first they will write into its own local log. Same as T2 will also write into its own local log. And at the time of try commit, they will validate their log. If their log will not be having any inconsistency, then log will be permanent to the shared memory and visible to the other transaction, and T1 return committed. Same as T2 will also validate its log. If there will be any inconsistency, then T2's log will not be permanent to the shared memory and T2 returns aborted. And eventually it will try with the new timestamps and return committed. So this is the high level working of the STM. Now let's talk about what is the problem with the read-write STM. So to understand the problem, let's consider one example where we have a list, and initially I assume list consists of set of keys K2, K5, K7, K8, and K9. And on this list, two concurrent transactions T1 and T2 are working on it. So T1 is trying to look up K5 and K8, and T2 wants to delete the key K7. Let's understand their executions in the form of a tree structure. So as this is the list, so any transactions who wants to look any key, they have to start from the head of the list. So T1 wants to look up the key K5, so it started from the head of the list and reading the key K2 and then key K5. So both the transactions are executing concurrently. So before transitions T1 invoke its second operation, T2 came in between and started finding for key K7 to delete it. So T2 is also reading the key K2 and then K5 and then K7. After finding its location, it's performing the logical deletion. For that, it's marking that node, and then for the physical deletions, it's changing the pointer from K5 to K8. And I assume that after the completion of the T2, T1 started invoking its remaining operations. One can observe that this red color circle depicts the conflict. The meaning of the conflict is when two operations belonging to the different transactions working on the same key and at least one of the operations is right, then we can say they have a conflict. So here the first conflict is from T1 to T2 due to read-write conflict on key K5, and the second conflict is write-read conflict from T2 to T1 because of the key K5. So when we can say any concurrent execution is correct, if we will get any equivalent serial schedules of that concurrent execution, then we can say that concurrent execution is correct. So here there is a cycle from T1 to T2 and again T2 to T1. So due to that, we cannot get any serial schedule of this execution, and hence this schedule cannot be accepted by the read-write STM. So this is the issue or limitations of the read-write STMs, where there are some schedules which we cannot be accepted. And to accept this schedule, we have to abort one of the transactions which limits the concurrency. So these limitations will give motivations to work on the object-based STMs, which I'll cover in my upcoming slide. Now let's talk about the motivations towards the object-based STMs. Before that, what is the object-based STMs? Object-based STMs operates on higher-level objects rather than primitive reads and writes, which act upon the memory location. OSTM4 sets its export transitions begin, insert, delete, lookup, and try commit. For queue, it exports transitions begin, enqueue, dequeue, and try commit. For stack, it exports transitions begin, push, pop, and try commit. To understand the motivations towards object-based STMs, I consider the same example which we have seen at the time of read-write STM. So we have a concurrent list where two transitions are simultaneously working on it. And this is the tree structure to show the executions of all the transactions. As we have seen at this layer 0, where read-write operations has been invoked, there is a conflict, cyclic conflict from T1 to T2, and due to that, we are not able to accept this schedule. But one can observe at this layer 1, where the higher level operation has been invoked. L stands for the lookup and D is for the delete. Here one can observe that all the operations are working on different keys. So if we will get a chance to work at this layer, then we can find an equivalent serial schedule. But the challenge here is how we can jump from layer 0 to layer 1. So the idea here is if all the high level operations events are isolated from the other transactions high level operations, then we can prune this layer 0 to layer 1. For sake of simplicity, I consider the example where all the high level operations are isolated to each other. So we can prune this from layer 0 to layer 1. After pruning it, we will get the schedule where we have a lookup on key K5, delete on key K7, and lookup on key K8. So as I mentioned, all the operations are working on different keys, so we can commute them in any order and get the sequential schedule after ordering all the methods. Now we need to get the serial schedules while ordering the transactions. So here they don't have any conflict, so order could be either T1 followed by T2 or T2 followed by T1. So this is the advantage of working at the object-based STMs. The same schedules which we have seen at a read-write STMs where we were unable to accept it, but in the case of object-based STMs, we are able to accept both the transactions, and due to that, achieving greater concurrency. Because at the object-based STMs, we are having a more semantic information about the operations, which could lead to higher concurrency. Now let's talk about our proposed OSTM design and data structure. We have considered the underlying shared data structures as a hash table, where each bucket is pointing to a list, in which we maintain the keys are in increasing order of their ID in between the two sentinel nodes to avoid the deadlock. Our proposed OSTM explores the following methods such as transitions begin, lookup, insert, delete, try commit, and try avoid. As I mentioned earlier, transitions begin. Every transitions invoke these to get the unique timestamps. Whenever transitions want to look up any node in the underlying data structures, it invokes the TLOOKUP method. And whenever transitions want to insert a new node or delete any node, it invokes the insert and tdelete method respectively. And as we are using the optimistic approach, so actual validations happen in the case of try commit. If there will not be any inconsistency, then effect of the transitions will be visible into the shared memory. Otherwise, it will return abort. So this is the high level executions of the operation in our proposed OSTM. To build our proposed OSTMs, we have faced a lot of challenges. Here I am going to show a few of them. The first challenge is we need to satisfy the correctness criteria, which is a popular correctness criteria for OSTM is opacity. And to satisfy the correctness criteria, we need to maintain some information of the deleted node in the underlying data structure. This will be clear with one example. Here I consider two transactions, T1 and T2. L stands for lookup and D is for the delete. Here HT stands for the hash table. Lookup is working on the shared items as a key K5 and returning the value as V0. One can observe that there is a conflict from T1 to T2 because of the key K5 and again conflict from T2 to T1 because of the key K7. And second operations of the transitions T1 is returning nil and due to that it's returning abort. But one can observe this schedule is not serializable and even it's not opaque. So in the case of opaque, every lookup operations of the aborted transitions also return the consistent value. But in the case of second operations of transitions T1, it's returning an inconsistent value. So to avoid that, we need to maintain some information about this deleted node in the shared memory, which could lead this lookup to return abort or return only consistent value. So we use the basic timestamp sorting protocol to satisfy this correctness criteria, which says that if any higher conflicting transitions committed before the lower one, then lower have to return abort. And now let's talk about the second challenge. As we are clear from the first challenge, we need to maintain the information about the deleted node in the shared memory. But that is leading into another issue. So that will be clear with one example. Let's consider here red color depicts the deleted node and blue color depicts the not deleted node or live node. For sake of simplicity, I remove the hash table from here and consider the list. Let's take an example. A transitions want to search for key K8, so it started from the head of the list and identifying its location. But one can observe, due to this deleted node, the search time will be increased. So to overcome this problem, we have proposed a new data structures where we maintain or each node maintains two pointers. One is the blue pointer, which is pointing to the not deleted node or live node, and another is the red pointer, which is pointing to the deleted node as well as live node. So let's consider the same example here. Transitions wants to search the key K8. So first, it will take the help of the blue pointer and bypass all the deleted nodes. And due to this property, it becomes a search efficient. And we propose these two data structures as a lazy RB list, lazy red blue list. We maintain two invariants. So first invariant is all the keys in the blue links and red links are in increasing order of their ID, and the node accessible by the blue links are the subset of node accessible by the red links. Now it's time to look into our experimental evaluation. We have set up everything on the Intel Xeon CPU, which is having a 56 cores. We have proposed our OSTM for the two data structures. One is for the hash table and another is for the list. And we compare the hash table based OSTMs against the state-of-the-art RWSTMs and Elastic OSTMs. And the second, for the list OSTMs, we have compared it with the boosting list, Nordic list, and translist, which are very popular in the state-of-the-art. We consider the two workloads for the parameters. One is the lookup intensive workloads, where we consider the lookup as 70% and insert and delete as a 50% each. And for the update intensive workloads, we have considered the lookup as 50% and insert and delete as a 25% each. We consider the key ranges as 1000 and operational per transactions is 10. This is the first experiment to evaluate the performance of our proposed HT OSTMs and list OSTMs against the state-of-the-art OSTMs. X-axis is representing the number of threads and Y-axis is the time taken to commit the transaction. So of course, lower is better. And one can easily observe that our proposed ostiums is outperforming than the state-of-the-art ostiums. Here figure A for the proposed hashtable ostiums and B is for the list-based ostiums. And the second experiment is to calculate the aborts of our proposed ST ostiums and list ostiums against the state-of-the-art ostiums. Here the x-axis is the number of threads and y-axis is the number of aborts. So again the lower is better. And here again, in the case of abort, our proposed ostiums incurs the negligible abort in comparison to the state-of-the-art ostium. Now it's time to conclude our talk, followed by the future work. We proposed a ostium which performs better than the state-of-the-art read-write ostiums and existing object-based ostiums. The interesting future directions could be current ostiums is proposed for the two data structures, hash table and list, but it could be extended for the other data structures such as the queue, stack, and tree. For more details, please look into our archive links. We will be happy to take the questions on these contact details. We will be present during the sessions to take your questions. Thank you so much.